Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Jean.
And I'm Mike. And today we are doing the crossword for Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. So, on this day that is just one removed from Wordle Day,
Yes,
did you do the crossword?
I did.
And did you do the Wordle?
I did do the Wordle too.
And did you find any overlap between the two?
I did.
Spoiler alert, we are about to announce the word. If you do not want to hear this word, please jump ahead about 1 minute.
Well, of course, I did the crossword last night.
We only have 1 minute.
I have Wordle. I did the Wordle this morning, but one across was the Wordle word.
Yes, indeed. It was clued as manly, and the answer was macho.
That is right.
I just found that amazing that they would have done that. But,
yes.
I mean, maybe it was just a pure coincidence.
Could have been. Mm-hmm.
Hard to believe, though. Not with Will Shortz in charge. Nothing is coincidental when he's at the helm.
I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was rather interesting.
Mm-hmm. The rest of this crossword was also equally interesting and quite good.
It was. It had some very interesting clues and theme and answers, too.
There was one theme answer that just left me laughing.
Oh, yeah?
Laughing out loud, rolling in the aisle, as it were.
Okay. Well, good.
I'll let you know because I'll start to laugh uncontrollably when you get to it.
All right. Well, it was kind of a complicated theme. There were 3 themed clues, and they were very obvious because part of them was
crossed out.
Had a line through it, right?
Yep, it was crossed out.
Yeah, crossed out. So, and then it was repetitive as well. It was like they thought of a clue, and then they thought of another clue, and then they crossed both of those out and went back to the first clue in all cases. So the first one was 16 across, and it said nonviolent protest, a farewell to artist Chagall, and then nonviolent protest. And the first 2 clues were crossed out. And the last one was left, nonviolent protest. And it was peace march. So, that makes sense. I'm not sure why we had to have that before, but it becomes clear when you see the revealer. 37 across, or 30 across was the same thing. Endure, and then display some humorous posters, and then endure. And the first 2 were crossed out. And so the answer for that was put up with, which is endure, would make sense. Then we had 37 across, which was Notre Dame team, and then asset in a staring contest. And that had a question mark after it, like it was, some sort of a punny thing. And those were both crossed out. And then Notre Dame team was written in again. And the answer to that was fighting Irish. And then we had 44 across, figure it out. Let's see that dance move where you lie flat by a door. And then those were crossed out, and then figure it out, written again. And that was do the math. Okay. So then you get down to the revealer, and it says city that had the final letter of its name removed in 1891, only to be restored in 1911. And the answer to that was Pittsburgh. I never knew that about the city of Pittsburgh, but it does end with an H.
Right.
Apparently they took away the H, so it ended with just B-U-R-G at the end with the G at, Pittsburgh. But they put the H back, it says in 1911. Okay, so that is exactly what has happened with all the themed clues. The first one, Peace March, if you get rid of the H, you get Peace Mark, as in Mark Chagall.
As in a farewell to artist Chagall.
Yeah, so nonviolent protest, Peace March, yeah. A farewell to artist Chagall, Peace Mark. They took out the H, but then they put it back in, and it became the nonviolent protest again. The same was with 30 across. Endure, put up with, display some humorous posters. Well, if you get rid of the H, that's put up with, and then you get endure again, which is put up with. 37 across, the Notre Dame team, fighting Irish, asset in a staring contest, get rid of the H. It's Fighting Iris. And then you put the H back in for Notre Dame team. And then finally, 44 across. Figure it out. Do the math. Makes sense. Let's see that dance move where you lie flat by a door. And that was do the mat. And got rid of the H. But then they decided to put the H back in, and it was, again, figure it out, which was, of course, do the math. So,
right.
So that was the theme. It was very complicated, but once you figured out the revealer and what happened to the word Pittsburgh, if you just did the same thing with the theme clues, it all made sense.
Yeah, I didn't really get the whole thing. I mean, I just looked at Peace March and saw it was Peace Mark, and I thought, okay, fine. And then also put up with, and then the one that I thought was hilarious, the clue of asset in a staring contest,
yes,
Fighting Iris.
Yep, that's pretty good.
So yeah, and I've not heard of the do the mat dance. But
no, I don't think there is such a thing.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Just like there's not a Fighting Iris.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, this crossword was by Tom McCoy, and he has a habit of creating awesome crosswords like this one with very sort of unusual themes.
Yes.
And he's lived up to this.
Definitely.
A lot of good clues in the grid. We had a gimme at the start, one down, Bert or Ernie, Muppet.
Right. Yes. And that crossed with 19 across, which I'm still not quite sure. Activity that turns an urban area into an obstacle course.
Parkour.
Parkour.
Yes.
What's a parkour?
Parkour is this event where people like just it's absolutely amazing to watch these people. They just sort of like run down streets, and all of a sudden they're like running up walls and jumping, and it Apple has for the Apple Vision Pro this documentary about parkour where these people are jumping across these spaces.
Oh my.
And you're watching it and thinking, boy, I hope they have a net, and also thinking, since they are airing this, presumably they lived through it, but it's very scary. But just incredibly athletic people. Like I say, they're sort of like basically running up walls.
Wow.
And doing all of these athletic maneuvers. Very exciting stuff.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, that was the one thing I didn't really know.
Oh.
But thankfully, I was able to get it through the crosses.
I bet you knew 5 down, wheel on a school bus themed cake, perhaps. Yep. Oreo.
An Oreo.
I thought that was sort of cute. Have you ever had a school bus themed cake?
I don't believe so, no. But that makes perfect sense.
I'm trying to remember the name of the teacher. Was it Miss Frizzle?
Yes.
Was the teacher on the magic school bus? Yes.
That's right.
I believe there are no Oreos on the wheels, though.
No. But boy, that school bus could do a lot of amazing things.
Yes, indeed.
It was magic.
15 across was drawer or door part. And at first I thought jam, because I knew there's a door jam.
Oh.
But then I turned out to be knob.
That is
because both drawers and doors generally have knobs.
Yes.
Except for the ones on Star Trek. I mean, those just sort of slide open.
Oh, that's right.
And so I was slightly confused by that for a while, because I'd forgotten that there were other kinds of doors.
I sort of had a little problem with 10 down. Feelings of animosity. And it was enmity.
Enmities.
Enmities. I wanted to spell it enmities, but that did not work.
Nope.
But yes, enmities.
Yeah, I've never seen that
I've never
in
seen
the plural.
That.
I've heard of enmity, of course.
Enmity, yes.
But not enmities.
That's right. Oh.
We had, 11 down. First rate was top notch, so that was pretty straightforward. Just trying to sort of balance out the enmities next to it.
Right.
And then we had 15 down, comic strip sound of impact, kapow.
Kapow. I knew that one right away.
Yeah, well, I'm slowly working through the Hulk, so.
Oh, I bet you see a lot of kapows
I don't know.
in there.
They really don't have a lot of kapows. I mean, it was very fascinating, though, reading the early Hulk episodes.
Yeah.
27 across, scientist played by David Bowie in 2006, The Prestige, Tesla.
Yes.
That's unusual. I just knew him as a musician.
I knew that, David Bowie had been in a few movies, but I didn't realize he played Tesla in one of them. But
Apparently he did. I'd forgotten 28 down, Ahab's Blank, chapter in Moby Dick, leg.
That's right.
Interesting name for a chapter. And then we have Ahab's kidney, Ahab's upper torso.
No, I think leg was it.
I'd also like to make a small complaint about 37 down. Amenity, thinking of enmities, amenity attached to an airplane seat, footrest. I would like to know in what class of airplane seat do you have to be in to get a footrest? I mean, I fly in something that is so close to you don't get to fly. I'm lucky if I have a floor.
Yeah.
And these people get a footrest. I mean, that just...
I don't think I've ever had a footrest in an airplane.
No, like I said, I look down, it's just like there's no floor. There's just the joists.
You
and I can see my luggage underneath.
Wouldn't want a footrest because then you wouldn't have any place to put your
luggage and feet.
Yeah, right.
Right. So,
but buses, on the other hand,
yes,
I've been on nice buses with footrests. So.
Listeners, have you ever been on an airplane and had a footrest? Let us know. In fact, if you could close a picture of the footrest, that would be ideal. crosswordpodcast@icloud.com. I want to see what one of those looks like.
Yep, me too.
Probably if we look at like airplanes from like the 1950s, where you had all those people who dressed up like they were going to a religious service.
Yes.
Because they were going on a plane.
Yes. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll go to a air museum and find one there.
Yes, that's true. We could.
We could just go down the road to Oshkosh.
Oh, what a brilliant idea! Yes. Okay.
EAA museum.
We could do an episode from there.
That is true.
Don't know how people would know, but we can make little airplane sounds, I suppose. 34 down was, 34 down, a little bit of everything. Adam.
Yes.
That was sort of cute.
Yeah, I like that one. That was good.
And 48 down, I just like this sort of the tie-in with the classics. Browbeat Hector.
Right.
I have to try and work that into casual conversation. Let's see. 63 down. 63 down was org that might have you put your belt on a belt. TSA.
Yes. I got that right away.
That was funny.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Very.
And then 68 across highlight as two separate words. And the answer was star.
Right.
And that crossed 56 down, Galaxy downloads, and that was apps. So I thought that was apt that they put those two clues together.
Right. Well, 41 down kind of made me sad in a way. 41 down. Media for old music players. CDs. Like, not that old.
They are. I mean...
They were the last thing before we had what we have now, right?
Yeah, but I can barely remember that. I mean, CDs are really... They were great for their time, but...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I don't think of them as antique quite yet.
I'm trying to figure out how I would get one into my iPhone. I think tremendous force would be involved.
Well, I wonder... Now, the car that I drive now is the first car that I didn't have a CD player in. So I mean, not that old. There's still cars out there with CD
I'm sure there are. I mean, I presume... I mean, they still make LPs, right?
Oh, sure.
Just for people...
That's sort of coming back, I think.
For people who apparently have incredible ears and they can tell the difference. I'm like, I can barely tell the difference between a CD and an... Let's see, 8-track. I bet 8-track's going to be the next one up.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, absolutely.
No.
All right. Well, this again was by Tom McCoy, and it was excellent.
Nice job, Tom.
Yep, I would say 5 squares on the Jam CR scale.
I would concur, yes.
All right.
It is great.
We are unanimous in this. So thanks, everyone, for listening. We will be back again with our cutting-edge analysis of Thursday's crossword. Watch out for rebuses tomorrow.
Bye-bye.